Hello, friends.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting edition of A Beautiful Adventure Marriage, the official marriage ministry of Cornerstone Church. We are your hosts, Tara and Alex Payne, and here at A Beautiful Adventure, we want to shed a positive light on marriage through resources and biblical truths. For all things A Beautiful Adventure Marriage, you can go to our website, that is www.abeutifuladventuremarriage.com, where you'll be able to find our blog, links to resources, as well as ways to give, and a tab to purchase our new book, A Beautiful Adventure Marriage, the guide for the marriage that God has created for you. Hint, hint. Here at A Beautiful Adventure, we believe that marriage is God's idea, it is a good idea, and it can be a beautiful adventure. So let's go.
Let's go. So before we get started tonight, if you are local, we have some very exciting news, I think. You can actually get A Beautiful Adventure Marriage in our local bookstore in Anniston, Alabama.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's very cool. If you go to the Golden Springs bookstore, it's called Christian Book and Supply. They are carrying our books, which is fantastic. And we are super excited to partner with them in just shining a positive light onto marriage.
Absolutely.
But tonight, we are talking about I think it's a very interesting topic that needs to be talked about as far as marriage is concerned. But with this particular topic, most people don't want to talk about it, especially with their spouses.
Ooh, I know what it is.
What?
The S word.
No, not this time.
Oh, well, I don't know what it is, but I've heard it's awful.
So have I, actually. And if you have gotten our book, you know exactly what story we're talking about.
Yeah, for those of you following along in your manual, that is on page 84, located in chapter 5.
Yes.
You can find that whole story and see what's really going on with the S word.
But we're not talking about the S word tonight. We are talking about money and the management of money, and how it can have either a positive or a negative effect on your relationship. So yeah, money.
Money.
And what I said was true. You know, money is something, everyone wants it.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to spend it, especially if they find something they like. But when it comes to married couples, not many couples like to talk about it.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was guilty of this when Tara and I first got married and first started dating. You know, like first got together of, that's my money. I don't put a wall up. Like,
right.
you watch your stuff and I'll watch my stuff. When in reality, it is our stuff. And, you know, it's something that you work at together.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely a process.
Absolutely. So tonight we're talking about things to do that will help you be good stewards of your finances. And because of that good stewardship will help build trust and security in your relationship. You know, money is one of the leading causes of conflict in a marriage. There are marriages that have ended because of financial conflict. And we have kind of seen both sides of that. We're going to share 2 stories with you tonight of how money has affected our marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has affected our relationship. One of them...
I was about to say one really good.
Was negative.
One really bad.
The other one was positive. About 5 years ago, we were actually getting ready to go on vacation. We were about a week out from going on our vacation that year that we had saved for, and we're very excited about.
Yeah, we were going on vacation, no credit cards involved. The world was a happy place.
Right, exactly. So about, 2 or 3 days before our vacation, total chaos hits at our home. Our lawnmower, our washer, and our dryer all die the same day.
I don't know if
you can't make this up.
if anybody's ever been cutting the grass and you're surrounded by a plume of white smoke that is coming from the mower that you are currently attached to. That's not a cool feeling. But here we are, a couple days before vacation, or the day before.
It was a couple of days, I think.
Couple days before. Like Tara said, and nobody wants to go on vacation and be gone for 10 days and the grass not be cut. because when you get back, it's a jungle.
Right.
So, got to do something to get the grass cut.
Right. Washer and dryer.
Washer dies.
Dryer dies.
Dryer quits turning. Can't get a belt put on it because it's an older model washer and dryer. Like, it's this whole thing. And
it all happened the same day. I mean, it was crazy. It was ridiculously crazy. But we couldn't go on vacation until these things were taken care of.
And with dirty laundry and...
Right. And you may be thinking, well, why didn't you just skip vacation? And that's something that could have happened, but things were paid for.
I was going to say, I'm a little selfish, and I had concert tickets in Dallas.
Yeah, but things were paid for.
Yeah,
like we had
already bought the tickets, hotel rooms.
Yeah, we had paid for everything in advance. And it is what it is. Like, we had to get those items. Now, we didn't have anything in savings at the time. We didn't have an emergency fund put back at the time. So this was something like, okay, we're going to have to put this on a credit card. That was extremely stressful for me because at the time we were trying to pay off debt. We were trying to build our credit up so that we could one day move to town and be closer to everyone. And I knew putting this on the credit card meant that we were going to be spending extra money because we were not going to be able to pay this off just instantly. Alex, rightfully so, wanted quality items because this wasn't something that we were going to use one time.
Yeah.
This was a lawnmower. This was a washer. This was a dryer. He wanted,
yeah, we still have all of these things, and this has been several years ago.
Yeah, all of them still work because he wanted quality. But it was just a super stressful time in our relationship because we did have to go into debt over those things. We did have to pay interest on those things. But it was something that needed to be done.
Yeah, I got to have it.
So, very stressful. If I remember correctly, we kind of got into an argument on the way home just because of the stress of the situation. You know, it wasn't that he was the enemy or I was the enemy. We were stressed. You know, we didn't want to put all of this on a credit card, and we had to. Now, fast forward to about 6 months, a year ago, we come home from church one Sunday to find that our refrigerator has completely died. And not only has it died, but everything that was in it that used to be in ice form is now in water form and is
in the kitchen floor,
residing in the kitchen floor.
All of it.
This refrigerator, it came with the house. I'm pretty sure it was new in 71 when the house was built. It was old, so there was no point in trying to fix it. We just need to go get a new refrigerator. This time around, we have an emergency fund. The only decision that had to be made, which refrigerator we wanted to pick. My only qualification was that it had to be within our emergency fund budget. I did not want to go into debt. Alex's only stipulation was he wanted an ice maker. So it didn't take us long to find a refrigerator that fit that.
Right. Now, and I'm going to just tell you, if it was up to Tara, we would have gotten like one of those little under-the-desk refrigerators that's $89 at Walmart and has a freezer in it that's like the size of a playing card that you can put like one popsicle in. And she'd have been fine. She'd have been perfectly fine with it. Perfectly okay. I, on the other hand, would be fine with spending the money, getting one of those smart refrigerators where I can hook it up to an app on my phone and just sit on the couch and scroll and see what's in it before I ever make it to the refrigerator so that you don't have to do the man thing and just stand there with it open.
Yeah, when you can like talk to it, hey, refrigerator, do we have milk?
Yeah, are we out of milk? What's the date on it?
Yeah, see? No.
So we had to negotiate and find a happy medium with one another of things that we wanted and needed versus what is too much and what is too little.
Right.
So we had to find a sweet spot. So there was some negotiating in it. But because we had that emergency fund saved up, because we had lined things up, thankfully, by the grace of God, Lowe's was having a sale. So we got one on sale. And it matched everything. It had the ice maker. Great.
Yeah, everything that we needed. And the only difference was the emergency fund. It was the money that we had set back. And because of that, it was no stress. I mean, we went into Lowe's. We did have to discuss, finding that happy medium, but we did that. We picked the refrigerator. Lowe's delivered it. They took the old one. Stress-free.
Yeah.
Completely stress-free. And the only difference was money. Now, you may be asking yourself, like, okay, well, how did y'all get there? Because in one story, y'all are broke as jokes. In the other story, you had this emergency fund. Well, first of all, let me tell you that about 6 years happened between those two stories.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Boy,
so
yeah.
there was some serious work that happened between those two stories. And that's what we're talking about tonight, is the things that we put into place that helped us. Because it did not just happen on its own. We did not just continue to live like we were living 6 years ago and just have money. Okay, guys? It was work. You have to steward your finances well. But unfortunately, a lot of people are never taught how to do that. We weren't.
Absolutely not.
When we got engaged, to say that we were broke is an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both very much in debt. We did not know how to use our finances correctly.
I was going to say, let's just be honest. We were somewhere, but between both of us together, somewhere close to the tune of $70-some thousand in the hole.
Yeah, something like that.
When we met. So we married into a huge hole. Thankfully, our pastor, Miss Sharon, set us up and gave us some really good advice and really good wisdom. And before they would even do our marriage, sent us through Financial Peace University,
which we're going to talk about.
which we'll talk about. But we started out in a very, very bad place.
Right. So just know that, if you're in a bad financial place right now, first of all, we get it.
Yeah, but you can get out of it.
But you can get out of it. Like, let me explain something to you. About 6-8 months into our marriage, we decided we wanted a couch. And we tried to finance a couch and were declined. So when we started, it was rough. It was really rough. But again, years have passed, and what we're about to share with you, I promise you, if you put it to work in your life, in your marriage, it will work. So let's get started. Tonight we're going to talk about 4 ways.
4 ways to manage your finances.
To manage your finances that will help you to one day be financially free, to be a good steward. And the first one is going to sound a little counterintuitive. We're talking about being wise and being a good steward of your money, but what is the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight, Alex, that you should do with your finances?
First and foremost, you should tithe.
Absolutely.
And now we're not going to get into, do you tithe off the net? Do you tithe off the gross? Whatever. The tithe simply means 10% of your income. If you're not in a place where you can tithe off of the gross yet, start out tithing off the net. That's what we had to do.
Absolutely.
We started off doing absolutely everything we could. We tithed off the amount of money that we brought home. And eventually we got to a point where we could tithe off of the gross, which was the top. And that has even begun to increase more and more over time to where we can do more. But the tithe is simply 1/10 of whatever you're earning.
So I love how Pastor talks about this. It's like if you have a dollar bill, 1/10 of that dollar bill is a dime. So when you get your dollar bill on Friday, a dime of it goes to the Lord.
Yeah, it doesn't even belong to you.
Doesn't belong to you. Just pretend it's not even there. It goes to Jesus. And it does sound very counterintuitive. Like, you're telling me to be a good steward of my money, and now you're telling me to give 10% of it away. Well, the Lord has a way of just being faithful to His word when we are obedient to Him.
As a matter of fact, if you are watching this video, drop us a message or send us a comment. Let us know how tithing has worked for you.
Yeah,
because we know that there are other stories other than ours of people who tithe and give and do things. We want to hear from you. Absolutely. We want to know what works for you. And I think that it would be super powerful for people to see other people saying, yeah, we tithe and the Lord has never left us short.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if that's you, drop something in the comments, send us a message. We'd love to share that.
Absolutely. And tithe works. And it's one of the things of, honestly, I don't understand how it works sometimes, but I can tell you it does. I can tell you countless stories of where Alex and I have been faithful in this, and the money just didn't run out. The math didn't make sense. but the Lord blesses us when we're obedient. It tells us in Malachi 3, bring your tithe to the storehouses and test me in this. This is the only time the Lord literally tells us, hey, put me to the test and see if I will not bless you. So we genuinely believe that even though mathematically it does not make sense, that a blessed 90% of your income that the Lord is blessing is better than a cursed 100. Yeah. It is absolutely better. So we just encourage you that if you're not tithing, try it. Go 2 months, tithe, and let the Lord show you His faithfulness, because it's His reputation on the line, not ours.
Yeah.
And He's faithful. He is faithful to His word.
Absolutely.
So the next thing, once you get your tithe established, because that's the first thing that we believe that you need to do, the next thing is save. Now, it can be any amount that you choose. Again, you may have to start small. Mm-hmm. In the blog, I recommended 10%, but it can really be anything.
Yeah, Lord, I think we started somewhere at like 2% a week.
Yeah, it can be anywhere.
Yeah.
Even if it's like I'm going to put $1 back out of every paycheck, I'm just going to stick it in my piggy bank or in a jar. Just start somewhere.
And here's what I found out. When you're putting $1 back every week, it's like, okay, I've got to remember to put this $1 back. You create a habit of putting $1 back every week. By the time you get into a habit of it, you got 40 or 50 bucks sitting there. And then it's like it triggers something inside of your brain to like, I got to make this grow.
Yeah, it does.
Like I got to see how much I can save.
Yeah, it becomes almost like a game.
So start out small. Mm-hmm. Find a way to save that works for you. Mm-hmm. An amount that works for you. Mm-hmm. What we do, we'll sit down and we'll do like our budget on Friday, and we take our change amount. Like if it's, like we always move our change into savings every week. So yeah,
it may be $32 one week.
So like
$132 the next.
Basically what I'm saying is like if we have $158 after we pay our bills or whatever the amount is, we take that $58 straight into savings. Mm-hmm. Whatever we round it to an even $100 and straight into savings, just to see how much we can get in there by the end of the month.
Absolutely. And at the end of the month, we look to see how much we saved this month. It literally is a game.
It's a game.
But I find myself, Alex, not wanting to use the debit card because of that.
Just so we can have more to put in there next week.
So we have more, yeah. And really, there's no set amount on this. Like Alex says, do whatever works best for you. The only suggestion that I would make is don't say, well, I'm just going to leave it in my checking account. It'll be fine in my checking account. Put it somewhere by itself. That way you can see it grow, number one. But also put it somewhere where you don't have just really super quick access to it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Make it inconvenient for you to get it back.
Right. Make it a process to get it back. Because I don't know about y'all.
It's like by the third time you have to click on something, it's like,
do I really
need this? Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But to me, it's easy to swap a card. Mm-hmm. So I may say, I'm going to leave this money in our checking account. But I start swiping the card, and before I do the math, I'm like, oh, crap. I've already spent $20. So my only advice is put it somewhere like Alex says, where it's a little inconvenient to get to. Yeah. That way, it's going to make you pause and think, okay, do I really need this?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So tithe 10%. Put a little bit back into savings, whatever works best for you. Okay? So now you have your savings account going, you're tithing, so you are being blessed, you are walking in the favor of the Lord. The next thing is something that a lot of us miss, and that is educate yourself and then do budget meetings. And I get that sounds ridiculously boring. I get it. But there are so many things that we just simply don't know when it comes to finances. Like, for example, we have credit cards. We are not anti-credit card.
We do.
But we believe that you should use them wisely. Okay? When Alex met me, I had 11 maxed out credit cards.
She ain't got them no more.
Girl could shop.
Well, let me just throw this out there. If you're ever at a fast food restaurant and they offer you a free cheeseburger to sign up for a credit card, it's a trap.
That's how I got my first one. Anyway.
I was at a football game and it was a free blanket. So there you go. I got declined though.
I didn't.
Still got my blanket.
But seriously, we're not anti-credit card, but we do feel like you need to use them wisely. But did you know that let's say your credit card has a $2,000 spending limit? If you put over $1,000 on your credit card, so if you spend over 50% of your credit limit, it doesn't matter if you make your payments on time or not. If the credit card company sees that you are over 50%, it starts negatively affecting your credit score. I didn't know that. I had no clue. The way we learned is by taking money classes. Like he said, Pastor and Miss Sharon made us go through Financial Peace. That's the Dave Ramsey course. You can go to daveramsey.com and sign up for that. You can do it online in your home now. When we did it, it was an actual like small group setting.
13-week small group.
It was 13 weeks.
It was daunting.
It was very long. They've condensed it down now, but you still get some very amazing information. But he talks about things that we just didn't know because no one had taught them to us. So it's like now, even when we do use our credit cards, and we use them on vacations a good bit, we make sure to keep it below that 50% just because we know that.
Well, and what we do, though, we only put on our credit card what we have the money to pay off right then. If we ain't got the money, we're not spending it.
Right.
But one of the things, like Tara said, when we travel, we'll put the hotel or whatever on there because a lot of hotels, rental car companies, etc., will put holds on your debit card so they will actually take out like extra and then give it back to you. If you use your debit card, it takes longer to get back to you, so you have less money. Like, you have to factor that in. If you put it on your credit card, they usually don't put that huge hold on it.
Right.
So, and even if they do,
It doesn't matter with the
it's
credit
not
card.
in your bank account, so it's fine. You know, do what you got to do. But also something that we do is we have found credit cards with reward programs that work for us. We know people that use Sky Miles. We know people that use Cashback Rewards. I'm an REI member, so that's where my credit card is linked, and I get reward points and dividends back from them every year to get camping gear and things like that. Find the one that works for you that has a program. Make your money work for you.
Yeah, but be wise.
Yes.
Like I said, we are not anti-credit card, but we are for educating yourself. Okay? And if you know yourself, okay? I knew myself back when I was using those credit cards. I was not using wisdom, okay? I wasn't. I was just swiping it because I could swipe it. So if you are not mature enough to use a credit card, that's okay. Just don't use one. Use your debit card. So the reason we say educate yourself is take money classes. Read money books. Anything that you can do to better yourself, to educate yourself, and to become better at spending your money, please go for it.
Find a financial small group at church.
Also a very good thing.
It's a good idea. And if you don't have a financial small group at church, ask your small group pastor. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to get one rolling for you. And if they don't have one right then, they can tell you when the next one is. At Cornerstone, we try to do minimum 3 a year. Because it's so important for people to get a hold of.
Yeah, or even, you know, if you go to a church that doesn't offer those kind of things, like I said, you can go to daveramsey.com. You can go to bookstores, buy books, but you know, look at the people around you. We have about 3 couples that we're friends with that we know are crazy wise with their money. So guess who we talk to? Hey, what about this? Do you have any insight on this investment? Do you have any insight on doing this? And they'll tell you, like, yeah, this is a good investment, or this is a good thing for you to do. And if it's not good, they'll tell you also, I'd hold off on that. So put yourself with wise people that are good with their finances.
Yeah.
You know, get you a book, do a course, but please educate yourself. And then take that education, take that knowledge, and get together with your spouse.
Yeah.
This is something you have to work together on. Again, I don't really understand why it works better, but I used to do all the finances for us. And guys,
She's a saver, I'm a spender.
Yeah.
It made sense for her to do our finances.
It did. And please know that my heart was in the best possible place. I wanted to be debt-free. Alex wanted to be debt-free. Like he says, I'm the saver in our family, so it made sense for me to do the finances. And I was literally doing everything in my power to do the best job that I could. But it wasn't until about 6 months ago we started doing it together. And I don't know why, but us working together as a team, we are better at our finances.
I want to give you a biblical reason for that to work.
Go for it.
So, excuse me, we're going to go to Luke 14:28. It says, "For which one of you, intending to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost, and whether or not he has enough to finish it? Lest after he has laid the foundation and he is not able to finish, all who see it will begin to mock him, saying, 'This man began to build and was not able to finish it.'" Count the cost. Count the cost of what you're doing. Know the expense report. Don't start a project without knowing how much it's going to cost and whether or not you've got enough to finish it, or else it's going to look really, really bad and people are going to talk about it. But, you know, Dave Ramsey says it like this. It's a little more today vernacular of live like no one else today so that one day you can live like no one else.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, guys, once you've tithed and once you've saved, the next thing is to spend your money wisely. What does that mean? That means pay your bills.
Yeah.
That means get the things that you need over the things that you want.
Uh-huh.
And if there's money after that to get the things you want,
go for it.
Go for it. You know, if you sit down with your spouse and y'all are both okay with a purchase, go for it. But live within your means. And you know what? For a while, that might mean saying no. When we first started this process, we had to say no a lot. And I'm going to be very transparent with you. It was embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't enjoy having to say no, we can't do that.
Not even a little.
It was very embarrassing. But because of the decisions we had made, we had to.
Well, I think you can sum it up with kind of what we've adopted as kind of our life's philosophy, which is saying no to the good things so that you can say yes to the great things.
Absolutely. And we just want to encourage you guys that this will pay off. It might be a very long road, but I promise you, I can stand here and promise you that if you will start implementing these things, someday you will look at your checkbook and go, oh my goodness.
I never thought it was possible.
Yeah, look what has happened. Alex and I are coming up on knowing each other for 10 years. May 2011, you asked me to marry you. We met November 2010. So we're coming up on the 10-year mark of when we met, and when we were just broke as jokes. And
so basically 9 years ago. Yeah, about 9 years ago right now, we started Dave Ramsey.
So it's been a minute. But I want to encourage you with this. In 9-10 years, we were doing the math before we got on here. We have paid off 5 cars, 2 motorcycles, 11 credit cards, a student loan. We had taken out little small loans along the way that we were able to pay off. The only thing that we don't own, free and clear, is our home.
Yeah, and
that's it.
Let me just kind of add this out there. We don't still have 5 cars in the yard.
No.
We don't have 2 motorcycles because we can't ride both of them, or I can't.
Yeah, we don't have all these things, but we paid them off.
Well, we paid them off, and if we wanted something else, we sold what we didn't need and sold what we didn't use to obtain something else.
Right.
So again, it came down to wisdom. Don't keep it if you don't need it.
Yeah, but it took almost 10 years to get to this point.
Yeah. So if it sounds like we're bragging, we are a little bit.
We're proud of ourselves.
We're very proud that what's happened over the past 9 years.
But we more say it from a place of encouragement.
Right.
Of regardless of how bad it looks, put one foot in front of the other. Every day, make a good financial decision. And 10 years from now, you may look back and be completely better than we are right now. You may be completely debt-free. So we just want to leave you with, if you work this, eventually, it will work for you. It might take a minute.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Get together with your spouse, become a team, get a common goal, and walk it out. And I promise you, because it has worked for us, if you do these things, eventually you will be debt-free. Eventually, we will own our home free and clear.
Yep.
It's going to take us a few more years, but eventually.
We're walking it out.
We're walking it out. We're not debt-free yet, but we are on our way. And you can be on your way as well.
And remember, as always, for this blog and all of our other blogs and resources, you can go to our website. That is www.abeautifuladventuremarriage.com. Like I said, for all of our resources, tab to our book and ways to give. And know that, one, we've been through this, so we know that you can make it through it too.
Yes.
And two, that we believe you and we're praying for you. And you can do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to pray us out, Pastor Man?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Father, we love you and we praise you and we thank you so much for the opportunity just to be here with you. And Lord, we just ask that you would help us to be wise stewards of the things that you've blessed us with. Father, help us to take our blessings and take the gifts that you've given us, Lord, and be wise in how we distribute them, so that we can grow your kingdom and grow people towards your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We love you guys. Have a great week.